I'm not really sure, but it seemed like with skating, just being a skater and getting into skating, that kind of like the measure of skateboarding was through photos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I got into skating. Um, I mean, there were a few videos out, but not that many skate videos. So I would read Thrasher and Transworld and look at the pictures, and kind of wanted to do that. Kind of wanted to. I don't know. I was into the photography in those magazines, especially like Spike Jones photos or whoever, Grant Britton, whoever. And I don't know. I was like attracted to the photography, maybe because I've never been, obviously I dreamt of being a pro skateboarder the way like a kid would. I
Yeah.
was never very good at skating like that or as good as those guys. And, or I don't know, just something drew me to the photography and I immediately got into it.
Yeah, no, it's like for me too. Like, I was never the best skateboarder either, so I kind of gravitated to more towards the film side and stuff like that, and definitely Transworld was one that I got religiously, and
Yeah.
I would have all the ads cut out and everything posted on my wall as as a teenager and stuff like that. Like, so what was it that like what was the first skateboard video that you seen? And like, I don't know if you want to say, but what year was it that you got into skateboarding, and how did that come
Oh
about?
yeah, it was like about 89, around 89, 90 that I got into skating, 1990. And I think one of the first I got was Rubber Sheep
Ah, yeah.
and Ban This by Palprolta. And I think the first magazine I got, I used to remember each in Transworld, the Pro Spotlights. So each issue had like a feature interview with like a gatefold poster.
Yeah, like the bifold one or whatever.
Yeah, and I think it was Tom Grholski, who was like a New Jersey vert skater. I think it was like Tom Grholski Pro Spotlight maybe. And then there's a lot more that I remember, like Jeremy Klein Pro Spotlight or Ed Templeton Pro Spotlight. It was always a different pro. And I really liked Transworld then, and I really liked the Pro Spotlights.
Right.
Yeah, that was the best. Getting the big picture, finally getting the big poster and putting it on your wall, and it was like, oh yeah, that was my favorite thing. Because like we're from a little small community on the furthest east coast of Canada, kind of thing. Originally, we live in Alberta now, but so we're like very kind of removed, like from the scene, the actual scene. You know what I mean? We watched videos and what we could find and stuff, but that was kind of like our only way to connect. So like, even though I mean, obviously, I don't take photographs and stuff like that, but like it was very inspiring even as a kid to see that stuff. So like I could see where you're coming from, especially in the early days. Like it had a punk rock kind of aspect to it, or that's like when I first got into skating, and I don't know whatever it would have been, 96 or whatever, 97. It still felt very punk rock, and it was like a little bit of DIY, even though it was a big, or felt like a big magazine like Transworld and Thrasher and stuff. But it still felt punk rock. Like Transworld was a little flashier kind of thing, and Thrasher was a little bit more streets kind of thing or whatever. But it was inspiring even to see that stuff as a kid growing up, like so far removed, because that was our window to kind of like what you do kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a magazine. There'd be two or three magazines a month then. But the videos, I don't know, a couple a year at first. There weren't very many videos. I remember when I started, it'd be like Ban This and Rubber Sheep, and then I think Hocus Pocus,
Oh,
maybe a Santa Cruz video or something. But the magazines came every month, and so it was really cool following skating through the magazines.
Yeah. No, like, so, and you found your passion for photography through skateboarding, obviously. What would you say would be, like, to get a cover photo? Like, what do you think has to go into that kind of photograph for skateboarding, and what do you think would make the best? What do you think makes the best cover for a magazine?
I don't know. I never shot. I've had covers of. I never had like a Thrasher cover that I shot. I've been unlucky, so I can't tell you what a good cover is.
But even as a fan, just visually,
As a
what
fan,
do you
yeah.
like?
Well, I remember they used to want the skater big in the frame, so the picture had to be a vertical with the skater big in the frame at the
Mm.
top, so that somebody walking by would know they were looking at a skateboard magazine.
Hmm.
It was like a certain like composition that it needed it to be like a good cover. Um, but yeah, other than that, I mean, it's just got to be like perfect. It's got to be sharp. It's gonna be lit good.
I think like later too,
Um,
like the more popular the skater at the time, I think got covers as well. I don't know if that would be true in saying, but
It seemed like it as a fan.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Maybe
I know what
towards
you mean.
later in the 90s, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
definitely. Um, yeah, now I notice like the Thrasher covers are a little more creative, or not creative, but they they do like interesting, surprising covers. They don't all look the same anymore.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like I
But
will.
sometimes I just saw the newest Thrasher has Elijah Burrell on the cover, and so it makes me go like, oh, maybe he's going for Skater of the Year because they give the Skater of the Year will kind of have like a bunch of covers leading up to it. I'm not saying he'll get it. I'm just saying like,
It looks that way.
oh, this dude, like this guy's on the hunt, or maybe they're thinking about giving it to him.
Oh, that's interesting. I never really noticed that, to be honest. But that's an interesting tidbit, I will say.
That's just what I thought when I saw the cover. I mean, it's a great photo, but I'm just now that it's starting to be the end of the year. I'm like, oh, I wonder who's going to get Skater of the Year.
yeah, I got to give respect to Thrasher too because Transworld aren't doing it anymore, and after with all the digital age and media and stuff like that, they're still pumping out magazines, right?
Yeah.
I think it helps that they're like such a big like clothing brand.
Oh,
True.
I think so. Yeah,
Right.
I think that helps out a lot, and they put out a lot of internet content too. Like, there's a lot of like, like Thrasher 15, 20-minute parts or whatever, like by all kinds of people, and not just like companies. It's just personal 15-minute clips or 10-minute clips or whatever. There's tons of content coming out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So they must be making like social media money to a certain degree, at least to keep that part afloat. But yeah, they do kill it. Like they do a lot of content, man.
Yeah, all good stuff. I love Thrasher.
Yeah, Thrasher's been pretty steady, I will say, for a while. Anyway, it seems like to me because I signed off last year for a bit because I just didn't have time to even really sit and read them, so I signed off for a bit. But I'm gonna get my subscription renewed again here in a couple of weeks because I usually do it over the winter because there's nothing to do in winter, like it's dead cold and whatever, so you can't really even go outside.
That's true.
So yeah, I usually
I
get my
noticed now that
subscriptions.
like you get older and time moves faster.
Sure does.
And I swear a new magazine comes out like every week. It feels like. I'm like, really? There's already a new one? I thought.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, oh, just time moves fast when you get old. Months are like days. So every time I see a Thrasher, I'm surprised that it's been a month already.
I just seen it the other day. But you recently had a kid in the last few years too, I guess, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that? Because
Cool.
I've had one recently, like 5 years ago, but I'm still recent technically. They're still tiny. So how do you feel that's impacted, like, the way you see your art kind of thing now?
Yeah, it changes your perspective on life, like what you think's important, and yeah, like why you do things. Just now doing this, he got pissed at me for coming in here.
Oh,
And
for
I was
sure.
like, I gotta go. I was like, I gotta go. I'm gonna say goodnight. I gotta do a podcast. And he started like crying and hugging me.
Yeah, that's
And I
the
was like,
stuff, right? It's tough, man.
yeah. And yeah, it's a lot of work. It's not easy.
No, for sure. Do you feel it's now, like, now that you got to navigate that? Do you feel it kind of changes your perspective even when you pick up a camera, kind of thing, like to a certain degree? Like it may have impacted you even that deeply.
Well, for the epically latered shows, it makes it well, like I gotta work harder when I'm working because I need to be done.
Yeah.
So rather than like dragging them out, like normally it'd just be, oh, I'll just film here and there and there and there. I'll be like, I'm gonna go film for a week and I'm gonna like hammer this out, or 2 weeks. A couple of our shoots were longer, but it's like here's my window. I'm gonna work really hard, and on Friday I'm driving home.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the shooting would be like in a different city than I live in, so I would shoot. It just makes me like take it more serious, but then also, I don't know. You have to figure out like a way to turn it off when you're not doing it to be present for your family.
Yeah, I feel what you like. That's the one thing about doing any kind of art form, whatever, or even skateboarding, whatever. It doesn't matter. Sports, all kind of similar. It almost over like you're always thinking about it. You're always you're always on to trying to find an idea. I guess is kind of the thing, and then you let that almost overtake, and now you're just kind of to yourself thinking, and then you kind of forget, oh shit, I should spend some time with whoever or doing whatever. And I had to find that as well. It's a tough balance.
Yeah, sometimes you get caught up in like drama and like bullshit, and you're like, fuck it. I should not be letting this get it. You really have to like separate those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But um, but it's great, and me and him. Well, actually, I haven't in a minute, but it got too hot the last couple of weeks. But I had been taking him skating.
Oh, nice.
He likes to scooter, so we go to the skate park, and I like set up a board for him. But he also has like a scooter. He's 4. He just turned 4.
Oh, right on. Okay.
And I'll go do like axle stalls and like chase him around the skate park. It's really fun.
Yeah, I like doing that. I take my kid skating and stuff. He's just like he'll be 6 this year, so he's kind of just figuring out how to stand on it really well. Like, cause you only get a few months here. Like I said, you don't get a whole lot of time with it necessarily. So yeah, he's starting to stand up this year, which is wicked. Watching him like scoot down a little ramp and kind of take off is like, oh shit, look at you go! You couldn't even walk not that long ago. Yeah, it's funny. It's interesting. It doesn't make you feel. I don't feel it makes me feel old, but it gives me a totally different viewpoint on being that young. It's crazy, but it almost makes me feel like a kid again too. Kind of gives me that thing.
Yeah, definitely. It changes everything.
Yeah, it's weird. It's super weird. I mean, the first one is it's almost weird because like I almost felt like even though I'm old, I mean I'm almost 40 at the time I was 35, but yeah, like I still feel like a kid kind of thing. Like I like to enjoy the same things that my 5-year-old enjoys. So yeah, it's interesting, but it's fun. It keeps it interesting. Like I said, it kind of brings out the kid in you again. Like you forget how to be a kid for a while, and you get a kid, and you're like, oh shit, this is how you be a kid again. And it's fun. I like it.
Yeah, get wrapped up in being an adult to just kind of slow it down a little and enjoy the small things.
Yeah, man.
Or I used to go out and party and go to bars and think about like social life stuff. So like going skating with them or thinking about skating, that's like fun. That's like a fun thing to do. But I don't do any like nightlife anymore.
No. This is as nightlife as it gets right here.
One night a week at your buddies here,
talking to people on the microphone. Yeah, but I mean, I really enjoy this. I think this is awesome. Like this is my favorite part of the week, most of the week, kind of thing. Right? We look forward to it and stuff. But yeah, so we'll get on to something a little less serious or more serious, maybe. Curious. So like you were doing Thrasher stuff, but you kind of got involved with Baker through Thrasher, whatever we want to look at that. What was that like, especially at that point in Baker?
Well, it was fun. I weaseled my way onto a Baker tour. I didn't know them that well, but I knew a couple of the people. And yeah, the tour itself was a little, I don't know, like hellish in a way. It was like, I'm kind of introverted. And there's things I can't stand, like that people do on skate trips. Like just the littlest thing, like littering, like throwing trash on the ground.
Yeah.
like would really, really irritate me. Or I always think about we were in a hotel room on the Baker trip, and they were just drinking so much. And one of the guys like smashed the coffee pot, just like focused the coffee pot in the hotel
Oh
room.
yeah.
And I was just like, dude, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that? And I always think about it. And, like somebody like Reynolds or somebody would have had to pay for it. Like
Yeah.
the bill comes probably. And I think sometimes on skate trips, I have to like tune that part of my brain out that's um, like having good manners or something.
Yeah, you're kind of like on the road with a band in a way, right? Like it's that kind of a thing.
Well, I think if
They're wild.
skateboarding had rock stars, I think they were all of that and more.
Yeah,
I mean Baker Bootleg. When I seen that video, it was like totally changed my life.
Oh my God,
I started wearing tight black jeans and the the black hair and the leather jackets and stuff like that. Like it totally changed everything. And I'm sure like all of that of course was alcohol fueled, right? So
PD baby, with the piss
yeah,
drunks.
piss drunks all
Getting
day.
mad. Oh yeah, nuts. Nuts.
Or to be 16 again.
Oh buddy, I don't know if I'd do it again even.
So to be on a tour with those guys, I mean, it must have been like you said, hellish. Like I mean, it must have been crazy.
Yeah, just a grind.
Yeah, there were some really annoying parts of it, but it wasn't annoying because I was like enamored with the skaters and how good they were. They were just young because now, if I went on a road trip with Eric Ellington and Andrew Reynolds, they're just like perfect gentlemen
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like nice guys and whatever, but it was just their age
Yeah.
and the time and just how it was, you know what I mean? But now it's funny because a lot of those people are like, yeah, like really mature and serious. And I saw the Baker team, and I was with my kid when he was more like 2, and my wife, and we just met up with them. I think Spanky told me where they were or something. I just met up with them. And so yeah, like Eric and Andrew, those are like the nicest guys. But I remember they were with like Tristan Funkhauser, and he was like drunk and stoned and had like a boombox thing. And I was like, oh, he's doing the early Baker thing.
Yeah.
And these guys, the other guys are like mature adults.
Yeah, I think that comes a little bit with skateboarding in a way, anyway. Like to a certain degree. I mean, it's a little bit, escalated in Baker and a couple other kind of places or whatever. But like, I think it's part of the deal. You get these crazy characters out in the world, like, and they're still going to come just because it's 2024 doesn't mean they're not still out there, kind of thing. Like, but I think that's what that's a lot of what I felt like drew me to skateboarding in the beginning. Like, at the time I was hanging around with older kids and kind of felt a little out of place and a little weird. And I started skating with these older kids, kind of thing, and then to see these kind of outlandish characters was kind of like, okay, well, this is fine. It's not a big deal. It's fine. And then you just watch a couple of videos. Like at that point, we're watching some probably Shorty's video and stuff like that, maybe I would assume. And then you see like a couple younger kids on teams and stuff. You're like, oh, well, I don't feel so much more out of place now. It was kind of cool. It was interesting. But yeah, I like the punk rock aspect of it. Like that's what I was kind of into in the beginning, was that more smash it up, let's go kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's just funny how your perspective changes with time because, like now, like fighting a security guard or something, I would never do that. I'd just be like, "Oh, we'll just come back later."
Yeah, for sure.
But when you're like 15 and it's like your right to skate or whatever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it's funny because when you're a kid, seeing Bam Margera or Dustin Dolan, those are like gods.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and they're doing
now that
that.
you're older, you're like, now that I'm almost 50, I'm like, ooh, let's be polite. Let's be polite and civilized.
Yeah, be a little more respectful and.
Oh yeah, but it was like it's a little like you get a little bit more. I don't want to say love now. It's a little bit more recognized, obviously, and you know what I mean. It's a little bit more in the mainstream versus like, look at these punk rock assholes skating down the street being assholes kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's not as much of that anymore necessarily. Not in my experience recently anyway. But yeah, it's at the time that was part of the problem. Like, I want to say part of the problem because it was their property to, you know, kick us off of or whatever. But in the same light, it was like, I don't know, if you didn't be a bit of an asshole, you probably wouldn't have got to skate.
Or yeah, like you're a pro. It's like pro wrestling in some ways. I think skateboarding's a lot like pro wrestling. People have like a shtick or a gimmick or that. I mean, that's who they are. I'm not saying it's like inauthentic, because obviously with my show, I think Andrew Reynolds once told me, he was like, you know, I choose these people to be around because if I was just around people like me, I would be bored. And so when I choose like epically layered subjects or think about it, you know, you're like, oh, this dude's weird. I want to know more about this. Or, oh, this is unusual. I want to know more about this. And so that kind of stuff's kind of exciting. Like,
Yeah.
like Dustin Dolan or Bam Margera, those would be good episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
If someone made an episode about me, it might be pretty lame.
That's the thing. But now I find that with, you know, seeing skateboarding in the Olympics and stuff like that, I find them all a little cookie cutter. Like none of them have their own. Like, I mean, I just watched it's for the female side. I mean, they were all young kids, but they all kind of looked exactly the same. None of them had their own kind of. There was no Dustin Dolan. There was no Muska of that age group or anything like that. So, how do you feel as skateboarding has changed in the last even 20 years? Because I feel like it has for sure.
Yeah, I watched all the Olympics. There's a lot of skaters I really like a lot in it. You know, a few you know, like kind of here and there, a few skaters where I'm like, oh, this person's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, they're absolutely amazing for sure. But just those gimmicks you said, those pro wrestling styles.
There's a lot of theatrics where it's like people really like feeling themselves when they like finish a good run. That they're almost like villains. I don't know whether they're doing like a heel thing, but they're like, you know, like an '80s like skiing movie, like some cocky, like they do some real like cocky shit when they like land a good run. That kind of surprises me. But I'm in danger right now of sounding like like an old white baseball announcer that's like, oh, these kids don't respect the game or whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm watching, I'm like, wow, these guys, you know, when they get like, they do some shit to like get the crowd hyped or something, or they land and like really bask in it.
It's very It's very sportsy or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's become very in that there's parts of it that aren't. Like, I mean, there's people that are out there in the streets grinding away like normal, but there's also like almost like a sports aspect to it now, which I find like. And there's nothing against Naj Houston, but like it's kind of that style, right? Like, and I mean, Naj is fucking sick. Like,
he's amazing.
He's like on fucking real, but like it's got that. There's athletic side of it, or whatever way you want to put it, like organized team thing or whatever. Like, yeah, it's just a different. And he's got lots of style, but there's a athleticism to the way he skates or something. Like, it's interesting.
Who's that?
Naj Houston.
Oh, Naja, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm not regretting what I'm saying because I'm not worried about like offending somebody. It's more like I just don't want to sound like a crotchety old baseball announcer that's like, in my day, because it's funny.
We only hit the streets, man.
In old 90s videos, they had this thing. It was like you never acknowledge the camera or like act excited. So people would land really good tricks and nobody would like act excited.
Yeah, it's just smooth. Got to be smooth on the rollaway.
But it's now funny seeing a few of the skaters. Well, I was thinking about that. Okay, I fucking love this skater is like Pedro Barros. Like, he's fucking awesome. He's cool as shit. So I don't want this to sound like negative, but it's like he lands and he has this like machismo that's like chest beating,
I know what you mean. Yeah.
and it's pretty sick because I know it's coming from a place of just like showmanship, but it's so different than like the culture of skating like in the mid 90s or something. Like nobody would like finish a run at like Tampa Pro and then like do that.
Yeah, it would just be a roll away, and that would be on to the next.
But then I'm like, so I'm almost like, not like he's a heel, like a villain, but he reminded me of the fucking guys in, in Harry Potter, the guys from like the fucking, what's his name? Victor Crumb.
Oh, from the fucking
That blonde kid. They had
It's like,
the bad.
yeah, man. I can't remember at all what it is, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
like
about.
Victor Crumb. But he, I was really rooting for and I was rooting for Tom Shaw. I know him. I know Tom and Pedro from when I was doing a lot of work with Vans and the Vans Park series, and they're both fucking cool as fuck. And you know, whatever. There's like six skaters. I have nothing against them or anything.
Oh yeah, no, it's just a new style, and it's just gonna change. I mean, I mean, like nobody rolls around with tiny wheels and big boards very often anymore, or it's like the opposite problem or whatever, right? So like things change. People like different things, and like I think the Olympics thing was a good thing. Like,
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, there's lots of people that shit all over it, but I'm like, man, it's bringing it into the forefront. There's kids getting involved in it. Let them do their thing.
Oh yeah.
Let them do their thing, and it's cool to represent your country as a skateboarder. Why not? Who cares?
No, I like that too.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a cool dynamic. Changes the game a little. It's cool.
Well, because usually you don't have a reason to root for a skater. Like,
Yeah.
you might like a skater, like because, or a skate team. You might kind of like a skate team or something. But as you get older, the sort of like idol worship, like I have no reason to look up to like some 19-year-old, 17-year-old skater as like a 47-year-old.
Yes.
I'm not gonna be like, oh, I love this fucking skate. Like it's just, when you're young,
weird,
some
yeah.
of those people are like, they're like your heroes,
Yes.
Yeah, and you're closer in
You
age to them generally, or whatever, and stuff like that, right? Like,
or they're older. Like you're
Yeah.
like, I look up to Ed Templeton or Ray Barbie,
Absolutely.
but like I don't look up to like Keegan Palmer or whatever. But I can go, oh fuck yeah, I want Tom Shaw to win because he's American, and fuck it, I guess we're just like rooting for the guys from our country.
yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
Which
yeah.
normally in the other sports, I root for the person from America just because I'm like, okay, let's root for the American.
Mhm.
But in skateboarding, it's funny because I root for the people that I like know the best.
Wow, yeah, that's your homies or whatever, right? That's how I feel.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh man, I hope like Pedro wins or whoever, somebody I know,
Yeah, that's funny. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny you made that analogy. Yeah, because like you said, Nigel Houston is kind of older now, but when we skated, he was just the littlest kid, right? And it's like it'd be weird to like think of him as my hero in skateboarding and stuff like that. It was like the Ed Templeton
Yeah,
and
for
Muska
sure.
at the time who was
Oh,
killing
yeah.
it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was a big 18 guy.
Yeah, like I tried to dress like Matt Hensley or like skaters. Yeah, Ray Barbie or Matt Hensley or Lance Mountain. Those were people I like looked up to.
hmm Rodney Mullen. He was probably probably my first favorite skateboarder ever, right? So that was my first video with Secondhand
so,
Smoke,
yeah.
Plan B. And
Yeah,
totally
it was definitely
changed.
Mullen for me for sure. That's
changed
why
the game.
Yeah, because it was so outlandish by comparison to everything. And then when I seen Video Days, that kind of changed a bit too. I was like, oh shit, Jason Lee. And even that was a bit like, that would have been kind of older at that point when I seen it first. And I was like, oh shit, Jason Lee's on real. Like holy shit.
Yeah.
And it didn't
Oh yeah.
feel
I like
aged or anything.
went and like bought clothes because like they look like Jason Lee's clothes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely tried that. stink for a bit too, because I got really into that. Like I couldn't get enough of Jason Lee for a long time, like in my early skate days. And I loved Blind. Like I was into the world, but I loved Blind. But yeah, that was. I remember even seeing that. And of course, then then you figure that Spike is involved with that, and you're like, oh, well, what's this? And then you kind of start going down that rabbit hole. And now that Roller, same thing. Like he's a dude that I kind of look up to. Like I like everything he touches, kind of thing. It's just, I don't know what it is. He's like magic. Mm-hmm. That dude. You obviously are a fan of Spike, then, obviously, eh?
Yeah, I've always considered Spike. I mean, in some ways, he was like kind of a mentor towards me. I mean, periodically with Epically Latered, because he was someone who gave advice on them. He was affiliated with Vice. So, like when the Epically Latered first started, I took like a meeting with him. Like he came in to talk to me about them.
Wow.
And I think it was like not out of body, but I realized I wasn't even like listening. Or like somebody, I think him and somebody were like talking, and I was just sort of like tripping out.
I'd imagine.
Because I don't think I'd ever seen him in real life. And and you're like, is that even his real name? Is this like,
is any of this real right
so
now?
I just think I was sitting there tripping out on him, like really starstruck. Because it's not just like, oh, he's a famous person. Here's like, like Brad Pitt came in the room. I think Spike Jonze was a lot more like formative to me, where you're like, oh, this is someone who I actually like really spent a lot of time studying and wondering about and looking up to. And I think even when he got big, just the music videos, it was like, wow, this skate photographer that I already liked is now directing music videos on MTV. It felt like a personal victory, or something. It felt like something I had something to do with. So meeting him was big, and then talking to him periodically over the years. I don't know, it just always means a lot to me. And we talk till this day. Usually it's just some texting, but sometimes it's just random. He watches Epically Later and he'll like text me. Like he texted me about the Chandler Burton episode just to like tell me he was stoked on it or whatever. And I sent him one of the upcoming episodes because we have like footage of his in it. And so we email back and forth a little bit. And I mean, I don't know what that has to do with anything, but he's just someone, whatever. He's just like one of my favorites.
Yeah, he seems like a real genuine dude too. Like, even though he's done all this cool shit, he just wants to do more cool shit, kind of thing. Like, I don't know. He seems like a rad dude. Like, I've never met. I don't know the guy at all, other than what I've seen. But yeah, he seems like a real rad guy.
Yeah, he's genuine, and he's, I don't think he's like caught up in bullshit.
So
he doesn't, I don't think he has like some big ego or anything. Like he's pretty like low key, and I don't know. He's like kind of shy, and I don't know. He's just like a nice, humble guy.
Like you've directed some music videos too. Like if you obviously drew some inspiration from him in going in that direction as well, or?
Yeah, I mean the music videos I just got lucky. I never like pursued it super hard, but I called him for some advice on some of them, and yeah, so I've been influenced him in a lot of ways.
So going back to Epically Later, obviously, like I'd like to know how did you decide that you were going to put all this into, like, obviously it started from the blog, like you were writing Epically Later blog, to the transition into the video documentaries, and tell me about that process.
Well, it was just lucky. I just got lucky. The blog was just, I mean, it's before Instagram. It was before like social media really. There might have been like Friendster at the time, but it was just a way to like share pictures and kind of like, I'd always been a photographer, but it was a way to like quickly share pictures, which now we take for granted. But at the time, there wasn't, it was like a lot of work to get it uploaded and stuff. And it probably served the same purpose as like social media does for people now, like an Instagram account. But it it did a lot for me. It was weird because it would get so many views. Um, like to me at the time, just like a shocking amount of views. And then I started working at Vice, and then the Vice was starting on like video content. And I think they were just like, oh, we'll do a show about fashion and we'll do a show about music and we'll do a show. Oh, Patrick, you used to work at Thrasher. Will you do a skate show? And my boss at the time, Jesse Pearson, was the one who was just like, you do a skate show, and we'll do a cooking show and we'll, whatever. That's just one of the things. And then they just kind of let me run wild with it. And it evolved. The concept evolved. But I just wanted to do like I pictured like Nickelodeon Skate TV, which was a skate show in the early 90s, late 80s. I just was like, oh, we'll just do like segments about different things in skateboarding. And just little by little, it kind of evolved into what it became. And it's still evolving because the new ones we're putting out are different than the ones from a while ago. It's just constantly evolving.
Yeah, I feel like we were missing that at the time, right? Because the only time we could actually get behind the scenes kind of look into these skateboarders was maybe get a day in the life on a 411 or something like that, or or just reading a couple pages in a magazine. So like the way you kind of open up that door for all of us to kind of see who these people are and how do they live their lives and what they're going through at the time and stuff like that. Like I think you fucking nailed it, right? It's exactly what skateboarders wanted to see, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because now there's so many things like this that now that we make new ones, and it's tough because early on, this would be the only time someone had ever pointed a camera at. I mean, not besides their skating, at some of these people like Cardiel or Eric Ellington or Alex Olson or somebody. It was the only time a camera had like met these people and interviewed them, or Jerry Sue, then. And now there's like so much content that it's a lot tougher. And we put out episodes and I'm still happy with them, but we've lost the like exclusivity.
I think
that has creates a little bit of a new challenge, and I don't know. It's just like a different world now.
Well, people are always online, right? Social media now with the new younger generation. People are vlogging and got their own YouTube channels and stuff like that. So it's it kind of blurs the lines of mystery a little bit. Whereas with the OGs, like that, they didn't have that exposure. I think that we are so appreciative of.
Yeah, you don't get that like behind the scenes Instagram day live at the skate park or what, you get all people do all kinds of stuff or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, the exclusivity is lost. Like I feel the same way about music. Like all this stuff has kind of lost a little bit of that the mystique kind of thing. You only should see it in on like an entertainment show maybe, and maybe a little in a magazine, and maybe on your favorite music station or whatever, and that's lots kind of thing. But yeah, it's lost all the mystique with all this Instagram. Yeah. Everybody with their Instagram out. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with Instagram because I mean we partake in it and everything else, but I don't know, just you lose a little of the fun factor of it all. And same like I find music and skating kind of follow similar trend, and yeah, it's kind of lost all that rockstar-ism for the most part.
Yeah, it can be discouraging. We're like, is this even worth doing? I don't know.
Yeah, people like it
But
though.
I get my car around head sometimes.
It's weird with your own content too. Like I don't know, I mean, we don't necessarily sit back and listen to our podcasts. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like I mean, do it maybe in the beginning because you're stoked to be doing it, kind of thing, or whatever. But like after a little while, you're like, well, this is weird now. Like I don't have to look at it after I've edited it or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's done now. It's out in the world. People can take it for whatever they take it for, and we'll just keep going forward.
I know. I don't watch them once they're old, or once they're 2 days old. I don't watch them. I usually watch it once it like comes out,
Yeah.
and then I never watched it again. There was one I recently, like I rewatched an old one,
Oh, I see.
and I'm like, this. I need to. This is so bad. But not the whole thing, but I
I
would
know.
zero in on a second, and I'll be like, what is this?
That's the
I try
artist,
not to watch. I try not to watch the old stuff.
artist perfectionist a little bit, right? Every time we see something of old, we said, "Oh, I could have done that so much better," you know, even if it was just lighting or, you know, I could have made an edit here and whatever, right?
Yeah. Tis the way. Tis the way.
But how did you decide on who you were having on, and is there anyone that you haven't done one on yet that you're still trying to push forward?
Well, there's a lot of people. I don't know. I just kind of come up with a list and then go after some people. And yeah, definitely, there's people that say no all the time. So, you just kind of roll with it. Um, so we have like a few more coming out, and but yeah, I'd say like at least even in the new series, there's like a few people we've asked that said no. Not like in a like in a mean way or anything,
No.
but um, where you're just like, I was like, people are always like, maybe later, or like, not right now, I'm a little busy. So,
You know, is there anyone
yeah, I don't know.
is there anyone you would have you'd want to maybe do like a second part to? Like, you know how, you know, times change and people change over even a decade, right? So like people, for better or worse, you know, their lives are different. Would you ever want to do like an update?
Yeah, for sure. Didn't I do one recently? A few people I'm like, I already did an episode on this person, but we're doing another because we did that a few times. Like I've done 2 or 3 Jason Dill episodes, and we did 2 or 3 Spanky episodes. And so then I was like, oh, I should do an updated Jerry Sue or Alex Olson.
Alex Olson would be good. I like Alex Olson.
Yeah.
Even like Bam, right? He seems to have turned his life around recently.
We did one with Bam in 2016, I think, or whenever that was.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think Bam's someone that should do a real documentary. Not that Epically Later is not a real documentary, but I think we did the best we could do with like a kind of skate focused thing on him. But I think a documentary on him, maybe a more like Hollywood kind of documentary would be really good. You know, ours are always like kind of skate focused, like focused on his skate career. I think like the ups and downs of him and like everything he's gone through and everything he's done and all the ways he's like fucked it all up and then
come back again.
And then like
God.
I think it would, because actually with his was for TV and for the Vice TV, and those had to be, were really strict about the lengths. It had to be whatever it was, like 47 minutes or
Oh,
something, and it was like down to the second.
Hmm.
And I almost thought I think we could like double his. Like his could be 2 episodes, so his could be like 2 hours instead of 1 hour.
crazy.
But I think it's good as I don't. I mean, again, I haven't rewatched it, but I think it's pretty good for being an hour. I remember when we put it up, it got like 2 million views in like 24 hours or something.
Wow.
And those views are gone because it was not when it was on YouTube. It was like on this other thing. And I remember seeing how many views it had, which I think was in the millions, just within a day or two.
Holy snap!
It was like nothing we've ever done. And anyway, and I always think with Epically Later, it's like we always do the best we can, but they're kind of like time capsules. And yeah, I would like to see a BAM documentary.
Big flashy one. I think that would be exciting
Yeah,
because you
that
want
I
to
think-
see like he's got a lot of different aspects. Like he's been skate. I mean, even just in skate world kind of thing, he's been doing that kind of pros things. He was like a little kid remotely, like a teenager kind of thing, and then I mean, all the CKY stuff. I mean, that was its own world almost, like that era of BAM, and then the Jackass BAM, and then crazy
Viva La
everybody
Bam.
Viva La Bam, like everything that was crazy, like Castle BAM days kind of stuff, all that crazy stuff. Like he just like almost like he reinvented himself in such weird ways.
Those guys, Dern Brothers,
Right.
Oh yeah, the Dern brothers. Yeah,
they're doing some. They're doing something with them.
Yeah.
I seen they had some clips and stuff going, like dropping it out the houses and stuff like that, like the crazy shit they got going on.
It looked like a Dern Brothers like Castle Dam documentary or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That would be actually pretty sick. Nice.
They're doing a
I'll
lot of
watch
cool
that.
stuff too on their YouTube channel with the skate spot history and stuff like that. I really enjoy those.
Yeah, that's right too. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like I gotta. This might be even weird, but I know Vice did a thing like Dark Side of Wrestling and the Dark Side
yes,
of the
yeah.
'90s and stuff like that. Like, would that kind of be a cool concept to do, like the Dark Side of skateboarding? Like, I don't know how that would.
I mean, that's what happens on my show without meaning to. A lot of the latest ones have been like pretty chill, but like Ali Boulala's
Yeah,
Alleys,
Right.
yeah.
or
Yeah.
I don't know. There's been a few, and it kind of veers into that dark side.
yeah, and that's just the life some of these guys live, right? I mean, that's the real life. Some of it is dark.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some interesting. Cause, what was I watched? I watched one like last night. What was it? The Roy one, I think. And like seeing, like seeing him now, like cause like he was a dude that I really enjoyed his skate, and he's a monster. But seeing him now, and I mean, he's still stoked and all for it and whatever. But it's like, dude, man, you could have been on top, kind of thing. He could have been the man, but he did his thing, and I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, it was kind of like, oh yeah, there is some dark points to this. But yeah,
Yeah, definitely for sure.
yeah, it comes with I think it comes with the territory. Like I said, I think it's that punk rock thing, especially in the '90s. There's a lot more of that, and I think that's just part of it. I mean, it sucks that there's nice people that got tangled up, but it's just I think it was part of the deal. It's cool that you highlight it almost like because it is so behind the scenes almost like compared to just seeing the flashy magazine or the cool clip and whatever. Right, it kind of puts some perspective, especially now we're all older. Right, it's a little bit different. You can look at it from a different point of view or whatever.
The most recent one we had was Anthony Van England, and it hit some of that stuff too.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good to see how people can turn their life around and stuff like that, and people can get on the right track, right? I was a big fan of that AVE. That was awesome.
Thank you.
So I do want to ask you. I will kind of clue her up here, maybe, but I really want to ask you. You seem like you want to stick to the documentary thing for the most part, like in that kind of vein, whatever that looks like. But do you find like kind of directing and kind of producing these documentaries versus taking photographs, and especially when you're putting out books and those type of things? Like, do you approach those two things differently?
Yeah, for sure. Well, usually when I take photos, like I'm the one looking through the lens, And now when we make Epically Later's, there's a guy named Kai who's our director of photography, and he'll. I mean, we'll work together on like the interview angles, but a lot of the times he's just like doing the cinematography, and I'm thinking about the story. Like we've like I don't know how to explain it. Like it almost becomes like a set now, where we're like a lot of the early episodes were me just with a camera, and then now I think it's like someone else with a camera, and I'm more like I have notes and I'm trying to like figure out what the story is, and we're like a team trying to make it look a little more elevated, so that, like I said, there's so many other um I don't know, so many other things out that we just were like, let's make these really good. Let's make it like, I mean, there's always like shit that goes wrong and things that don't look perfect, but with photography, usually it's a little more intimate, I guess now. Not that the shooting doesn't, but I don't know. There's aspects of it, but um, yeah, I think I definitely treat Epically Later a little more as a job or something. I don't know how to explain it, but I do generally the Epically Later is my job, and photography now is a little more like for fun.
It's cool because I like a lot. Like I've of course been peering through all the stuff I haven't even seen, like going through your website and stuff that I haven't seen other than a couple other things. But yeah, even like looking at, you got some cool stuff. Like the van stuff is really cool. Like some like the books that you put together are really cool. Like the artwork's really cool. Photos are really cool. And you gotta get, I don't know. There's some I've looked at some of the like skate photography. Like I really enjoy. It's got this kind of like old magazine look, but flashy. If that makes, I don't know how, I can't even know how to describe it necessarily. But there's something about it that reminds me of, even your new photos remind me of like the old magazines, but they look new and they look like your photos, but they look new. Like there's something cool about them. I really enjoyed your photography.
Cool, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Taking a deep dive into your stuff here. But it's been fun. Like it's all cool stuff, and like that's why we're interested in speaking with you. Of course, is you're interested in stuff we're interested in. So it's really cool, and your art is awesome, and the stuff that you put out in the world, we take it all in and we enjoy it and we appreciate it, and kind of inspires us to do this silliness.
When does this come out?
So it'll be out Wednesday of next week.
Okay.
So it'll be what, the 14th?
14th.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Well, Patrick, we'll let you get back to your kid and do your thing, man. But we really, 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 really appreciate you coming out, man.
Well, thanks for hitting me up and having me do this.
Oh man,
Can't thank you enough.
anytime.
Yeah. Can't
Yeah.
thank you enough. Honestly, yeah. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been nice talking to you guys because I get a real nervous, and right now I don't feel that nervous. So
Good, because we got nervous too, so don't worry about it. No, man, it was awesome.
I
Awesome.
think, yeah. So I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I have anything interesting to say.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes, but yeah, oh man, that was excellent. Thoroughly enjoyed speaking with you and hearing some stories and giving us a little insight into how you do your thing, which is kind of what we enjoy. Is
Cool.
there
Well,
anything you wanna let the people know about before we shut her down?
no. Well, what are my plugs right now? Oh, that's why I asked when this was coming out, because it's like you want to plug your things, but you can't give away spoilers. But my next episode is Jeremy Klein,
Oh yes.
and that comes out. Well, you know what is funny? It was supposed to. The guy told me like, "Hey, it comes out today," or no, it comes out tomorrow. But that was like earlier this week, and it didn't because the archival isn't cleared. We have to get like stuff signed and figure out how to, like, if we can pay anybody for like the footage we use and stuff and get releases. And I do that a little bit of that, but there's like a team that does that. So there's a Jeremy Klein episode, and there's two episodes that are completely filmed, like completely finished and edited, and like done,
Just held up.
but they're in like paperwork limbo.
Well, we'll keep an eye out for it. We'll be 1 week closer by the time this rolls out, so hopefully we'll be a couple days closer at that point.
Maybe by the time this comes out, the Jeremy Klein episode will be out.
Nice. That'll be a wicked one. I'll definitely be checking that out.
If not, sorry for hyping something that's not out yet.
But it will be out soon, though.
Yeah, no, it's coming, so everybody keep an ear to the ground.
But it was cool because I hired Heath Kirchart or I don't want to say I hired him, but we partnered. Heath and I have partnered on this season.
Oh, sick.
And Heath suggested Jeremy because they were like such tight friends back in the day.
Oh yeah, Birdhouse at the end, under pressure, right? Doing
So he's like, what do you think about Jeremy Klein? And I was like, yeah, of course. And like I said, my first video, or one of them was Rubbish Heap, and Jeremy Klein is like the main guy. And it's a little, I don't know. I'm curious if younger skaters are going to be into the episode or like whatever. I don't know. I usually don't like think about that shit, but it'll be interesting to see how it does. Because he's such like a deep cut in skate history. Not to me, because to me he's like a like a deity from when I started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like an OG for us. Even like, yeah, that Birdhouse. Like, come on.
Yeah,
I think him and Kirchart's part there, where they're grinding on the Blockbuster sign and stuff.
Good. That's
and
one of my favorites, man.
they're on fire and they jump into the lake there or whatever. Like, that's iconic.
Yeah, I had the whole sequence on my wall. I remember it plain as day. It was right in front of me. The big sequence. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, that was a big one.
And so it was like Heath's idea in a way, and it felt like a little bit of a project, not like his episode, but it was kind of like he was really excited about it, and you could tell it was an episode that he was trying to make sure we got everybody like, oh, we got to get Tony Hawk, or we got to get whoever, this person, and so it was kind of fun. It was like not that Heath directed it, but he kind of did.
That's awesome.
And I think it came out. I think it came out cool. And yeah, it should come out any day now. It's just, I think with some of the old footage, people want releases, or Vice wants releases, but it's just like such old videos and stuff. You're like, whose footage is this?
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, who even actually owns anything to do with this?
Right.
Yeah. But that's cool. But at least
Or
it's coming.
sometimes with old videos too, it'll be someone that like never got any money and they're like bummed. They're like, I want like 4Gs for this. So sometimes it's like that mess. Some guy that's like completely dipped out
Yeah.
of skating. It's just like, what do you, I don't know. Sometimes it can be, it's just a mystery. It's like 30-year-old VHS footage from who knows where. So we're trying to get the releases sorted. So that's the delay.
Yeah. Sounds like a logistical nightmare for 30-year-old VHS videos, right? Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. But that's how it goes. Showbiz. It's showbiz, baby.
yeah.
I don't know. That's the tough part. But I think it came out cool. I'm excited about it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I'm excited to see it.
Kirchart's one of my like all-time favorites. So like the all-time skaters, him and Klein, especially like, and then through hookups and all that stuff eventually. And oh yeah, that was, yeah. Like I said, I still remember that sequence on my wall. It's awesome.
Which one, Jeremy Klein?
Yeah, like when they're skating the Blockbuster sign and stuff, like from
Oh
Birdhouse.
yeah.
Yeah, it had the sequence. I think it was like the Birdhouse or the Blockbuster sign, and then it was the the other part of the sequence I think was the on the bus shack or whatever, when they launched the bus shack and jump off. I think that was the other piece to it or something. I can't remember now exactly, but I remember it being right in front of me on my wall. It was like the all time, because that was one of the first videos I seen too. I think probably the same day even. It's like, yeah. Getting stoked up.
Yeah, they're so sick.
That's awesome. Well, Patrick, thank you so much, man. It has been, like I said, it's been our pleasure for sure.
Okay, cool. Thanks for having me, and let me know when it comes out.
Yeah, man, we will definitely
Absolutely.
let you know, and we'll keep our ear when we see new Epically Later stuff come out. We'll put that out too. We'll share that up. No, you're gonna get enough views anyway, but we'll do our part.
No, I appreciate it, because I used to not look at the views, or not, the views weren't public, and I didn't care. And then it sucks now because I don't want the views for like my own personal, like I don't get paid better if the views are better or whatever, but it's in order to keep making more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if the episodes are like duds from like Vice's perspective, they could lose interest in doing them. So sometimes I'm like, please let this one get a lot of views, just so I can keep making them.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll do our part.
And
for
it's
sure.
not really about money, because we don't like make a lot of money or anything, or it's not like much money, but it's just because we like love doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that stuff shows.
And so,
for sure.
So I'm like, I just hope it gets enough views that we get to like, someone will let us make another one.
No, man, that's what it's all about. But that's awesome, and I mean that shows a humble attitude from your perspective as well, right? It's more just about doing it than what it does, kind of thing. So that's awesome.
The passion always shine through in all the documentaries, which is what we just love it. We eat that shit up, and I'm sure the whole skateboarding community is gonna divulge into that, new and old, and
yeah, and we hope the new episodes go well, because I want more. So
yeah, exactly.
Cool. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome, Pat. Well, thank you so much, my friend. Hopefully we'll speak again, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right. See you
Okay,
later.
talk soon.
Thanks, buddy. Cheers.
Bye.